Welcome to the Personal Computer Show. I'm John Edson.
And I'm Kay Gaddy. Our letters delivered by your postman on their way out, and computer communications and electronic mail on their way in. Well, today you're going to see a demonstration of the nation's new postal system, MCI Mail. And we'll also talk with the man responsible for the Dow Jones News Retrieval Service, Vice President of Dow Jones, Bill Dunn.
Cable television and personal computers seem to be moving in the same direction. We'll visit HomeLink Cable in Princeton, New Jersey, and see a service that allows you to connect personal computers up to the cable.
If you'd like a chance to win a personal computer in our monthly computer giveaway, the details on how to enter the contest immediately follow this show.
The composer who created the Personal Computer Show theme music uses his free time to teach children about sound and computers. In our personal profile this week, we were invited to attend one of his lectures and see how a personal computer makes learning about sound a visual experience.
The sounds of the playground are sometimes taken for granted, although sound is all around us as we grow up. For most children, it's a difficult concept to understand. For computer hobbyist Barry Taylor, teaching children about sound has become his favorite pastime.
How many cycles is this particular waveform here?
3.
Okay, there's 3. It starts here, comes here and starts repeating here again, and repeats again. There's 3. What about this one here? 2. Okay. The next thing I want to talk to you about is frequency.
Taking time out from his full-time job as a grocery clerk, Barry volunteers his computer skills to teach area school children about sound. Using a Radio Shack personal computer connected to an oscilloscope, sounds are generated by the computer and displayed as waves on the monitor screen. Seeing a sound increases the children's understanding.
The program demonstrates basically what's happening inside the synthesizer. They're not only hearing the sound, but on the computer screen they're seeing what's happening with the sound pattern as it travels through the synthesizer. The fact that you need to be able to see what's happening, kids need to be able to see something. They need they can hear and you can talk to them all you want to, but unless they can actually see something, they don't really grasp it. And what the Synthograph program does is it graphically animates what's happening inside the synthesizer in slow motion. It's very primitive, but yet it helps them understand more about what's happening.
Besides the fact that personal computers attract the attention of most of the children in the audience, it's also an important teaching tool. With the ability to display graphics and diagrams on the screen, it takes the place of overhead projectors, slides, and film strips.
They wouldn't be able to understand what point I was trying to make because kids are inundated all day long in school with papers that have pictures on them and diagrams and stuff. And if I just handed them a handout, it would just be another handout. But here I'm bringing something in that's new. It's something that not many people yet have in their homes. And it catches their attention. And when they see the motion, they see the animation. It's not just a picture that's there.
So there's oscillator number 1, and here's oscillator number 2. And you can also combine the two.
It would be fantastic to have a computer as a teaching aid. The kids are so excited about it when they can actually see things happening that I'm really hoping that we can get more in the classrooms.
Until more schools obtain computers for their classrooms, occasional demonstrations by enthusiasts like Barry Taylor may be all the exposure some children get with computers. Hopefully in the future, more computers will be available for schools and a trend toward higher quality in education established.
The Dow Jones News Retrieval Services may be one of the largest databases available to personal computer owners. The man responsible for this service is Vice President of Dow Jones, Bill Dunn. Earlier, we discussed computer communications, and I asked him about the types of online services that are available to businesses who do use personal computers.
Well, in the stock brokerage community, which seems to have been historically the first users of online services, there are 2 or 3 companies that are providing instant quotes and other kind of statistical information to help the broker with his client. Automatic Data Processing, or ADP, just moved in on this business, and the traditional ones are Quotron and Bunker-Ramel. We serve, with Dow Jones, our database serves the business news, and we have quote services also. Our software programs help store the information, analyze it, graph it, help solve some of the problems of what to do with this large volume of data. In the lawyers' area, the legal area, Meade has been very successful with their service called Lexis, which allows a lawyer to search through all cases and make certain that he doesn't miss any precedents. And it's even started, I think they've even admitted it in several state courts, and it's almost a necessity for a lawyer now to avoid missing something in this vast, in the law books, make sure that they get all the legal precedents.
Now, since we'll be seeing a demonstration later of MCI electronic mail, I asked Mr. Dunn about his opinions as to the potential of electronic mail services in the future.
Well, we think it has a very high potential because it's going to be competitive with a rather archaic way of moving information around. If first-class mail, I believe about 80% of it is business-oriented. Letters, contracts, bills. And as the society accepts electronic fund transfers in concept where I don't have to see a piece of paper to substantiate that I spent on a credit card or that I bought something, you'll need less paper, and paper right now is very expensive to move around the country. Ever since the mid-'70s, when the fuel prices have gone up, we've seen a tremendous increase in cost of transport of product like paper, where at the same time we see a decrease in cost of transmission of an electron. You take a company like MCI that would allow me the flexibility of transmitting a letter to you from the West Coast to the East Coast and having it printed out on a laser printer and dropped in the mail. That's going to be very competitive against taking that piece of paper and flying it all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. It'll be faster. Rather than 3 or 4 days delay, it will get there almost instantaneously. So I just think that the marketplace is going to force paper out and electronics in, whether the post office does it or not, or whether their competitors do it. I just think the economics are going to cause a transition.
Our special thanks to Bill Dunn for sharing his views of the industry with us, and we want you to stay with us because we have a lot more to come on the Personal Computer Show right after this.
Every day, personal computers are helping more and more people do what they do better, faster, and more efficiently. And many of those same people turn to Personal Computing Magazine to get even more out of their computers.
Personal Computing Magazine helped me get over my fear of computers and showed me how to get started in language even I could understand.
I run my business in the city from the country. Personal Computing Magazine showed me how to do it.
First, I bought a computer to help me gather information. Then I subscribed to Personal Computing Magazine to find out what else my computer can do for me. Now the possibilities are endless.
Start putting Personal Computing Magazine to work for you now. Call toll-free 1-800-441-8222 and order 12 issues for just $11.97, our special introductory rate. Call now and we'll put personal computing right in the palm of your hand. 1-800-441-8222. Do it now.
Reliable design and quality construction make MPI, Impact Matrix printers, the ideal choice to complement any computer system. High-resolution printer graphics capability is included as a standard feature for applications requiring plotting, printing of screen graphics, special fonts, or special characters. High speed and low price means MPI can do more for less. Ask your dealer for MPI.
Well, as you know, John, interactive cable television may be yet another area where personal computer communications could flourish. In our computer profile today, we're going to visit the HomeLink interactive cable system in Princeton, New Jersey. We'll see some futuristic services which are already available. Cable television provides not only a wide variety of entertainment choices, it also provides valuable information. Instant weather, the stock market ticker, and public bulletin boards. All are services which are usually unavailable on broadcast television. With the introduction of home computers, some cable systems are beginning to offer interactive services which allow you to connect a personal computer to the cable to receive information. One such future-thinking cable system is HomeLink Communications of Princeton, New Jersey. Bill Heisel, general manager of the cable system, explains the technology involved.
What you're seeing right now is a 5-meter satellite Earth station. It receives the signals which have become the mainstay, the specialty services of cable TV across the country. This one is looking at SATCOM 3R, which is where you can find the personal computer show. Each satellite is in a particular orbit about 22,300 miles above the Earth. The signals that the satellite Earth station receive are transmitted from a dish that looks very similar to this one, is usually a bit larger in size, called an uplink. They transmit the signals up to the satellite, and the satellite then reflects and retransmits the signals down to Earth to be received by this type of dish. The mainstay of the cable television business and how it all started was the retransmission of signals, the networks which we've all come to know, NBC, ABC, CBS, and the local public broadcasting services. What we do is put our antennas on a high tower to gather up these signals free of interference. The signals from New York which we receive are broadcast from the World Trade Center about 50 miles from this antenna site. We then, at the antenna site, receive the signals, carry them down the tower by use of hard wire into our head-end facility, and then broadcast them over the cable system to the subscriber's home.
At this point, the cable can connect to your television and to a personal computer. If you don't have a computer, the cable system can help you arrange to lease one so that you can access the Dow Jones News Retrieval Service. Once connected, information is available for all members of the family, from electronic encyclopedias to news and stock market price quotes. Another database which is often used is the Airlines Guide, which has schedule and fare information on national and international flights.
Here I have to enter my departure city. I'm leaving out of Newark, New Jersey, and I'm going to go to Chicago. And I'm interested in coach fares, so I'll press 1. Here we have a listing of fares from Newark to Chicago. Here's one-way round trip, and here's the airline and the class and also the fare code. So I'm interested in a relatively cheap flight. If I want an explanation of this, all I have to do is hit X and 1 for an expanded view of the first one, and I'll get more of an explanation on that particular flight. One of the advantages of having a service is at home you could sit down and sort of shop for a cheap flight, or you don't have to call a travel agent and have them do it for you. You could just look up and find a cheap flight. You can also look for your return flight, and sometime in the future we will be able to actually order your tickets through your terminal.
Cable television may indeed be an important link for computer communications in the future. By combining the services available from both satellite and computer technology, HomeLink Communications of Princeton offers its subscribers truly an information link with the home.
The subject of electronic mail is very exciting when you consider the many possibilities it has for improving communications. Recently, MCI created a new electronic communications service for personal computer users called MCI Mail. Our guest today is Robert Harcharik, who's president of MCI Mail, and he's going to demonstrate how it works. Bob, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, let our viewers out there know, what are you up to over at MCI?
Well, as you probably are aware, during the 70s, MCI brought the nation a new telephone company.
Yes.
And we hope that during the 80s, we bring in a new postal system that's for the users of personal computers, which, as you know, are showing up everywhere in our society.
They're coming up all over, as they say. Now, one question that I want to ask you, though, in order to use this mail service, does it depend on both parties having a computer or just one?
No, indeed, it does not, and that's what's unique about it. When we say it's a postal system for personal computer users, we mean that in the sense of being able to send the mail. But indeed, they can send mail to anybody if the person to whom it's addressed has a device and it can be delivered to them electronically on their computer, then in fact that's the way it works.
Right.
If the person to whom they address the mail does not have a personal computer or the system doesn't know about that person, the mail is printed out at our postal centers by laser printers in a city close to the recipient from where it is courier delivered or in fact can be delivered through the local postal system at a lower cost, but typically by noon tomorrow.
By noon tomorrow, or perhaps even sooner.
We have a special service in 15 major markets right now where the letter can be delivered 4 hours from the time it's deposited.
So in other words, Bob, you could be sitting at home in your den typing a letter on your personal computer and have that letter be hand-delivered in New York City 4 hours later.
On your letterhead and with your signature on it.
With your signature on it.
That's correct. We digitally record your letterhead and digitally record your signature in the system at the time you subscribe, which, by the way, costs nothing to subscribe to the system. And when you call for the letter to be printed on your letterhead or indicate that the letter should be signed at a particular point, your signature is retrieved and put on the letter.
So it's all kept in there just in case.
That's correct.
All right, now, I have a computer and I want this service. What other equipment do I need?
Well, if your personal computer doesn't have a modem built into it, you have to acquire a modem.
Like this one here.
This one that we see here on the screen. There are a number of brands. In addition to that, you need software that enables your computer to use that modem to communicate with our system over telephone lines. We have a network that stretches across the United States, and you contact our computer through this network.
Okay, now MCI is not in the hardware business, so you don't have...
MCI doesn't sell machines. We work with the installed base of machines, and of course, if you need a modem, you go to your computer store and get it.
Okay, now let's say that I have the modem, I have the software, and I have the computer. I'm on the service. What does it look like whenever I come in to check my messages?
Well, you simply dial us up and contact the computer.
Okay.
And the first thing you're shown is a menu of the things that you can do. As you see,
here's the menu here.
That's correct. We can read our mail that's awaiting for us. We can scan it first to see what mail is there, which we'll do.
Right.
It asks us, do we want to scan mail that's waiting for us in our inbox or our outbox, which would be copies of letters that we've sent to other people. In this case, we want to scan our inbox, so we'll indicate inbox. And the system tells us we have 5 messages waiting, and it proceeds to tell us from whom those messages were sent, the subject of each message, and gives us an indication of how long each one is that helps us decide whether or not we want to read them right now or print them out.
Yes.
Let's just say that we choose to read the one that's number 10 here. The system pauses at this point to ask us if we want to continue, tells us what choices we have. We can read it, we can print them, we can scan other messages. In this case, let's say we want to read number 10. We'll type read.
Okay. Now this holds on to the messages and the information indefinitely, right?
And now we'll put in the number 10. That's correct. The messages will stay in your inbox until you read them. We said we wanted to read number 10. It looked like the most interesting of the 5 that were there. We put in 10, and now it begins to display that message. Puts the date and the time that the message was posted, the name of the person who sent it, and also their MCI Mail ID. This message is addressed to me with carbon copies to some other people here, and a subject. And then it proceeds to print out what the message is, pauses to see if that's enough. Would you like to continue to see the rest of the message? Let's tell it, yes, we do. And pauses again.
And we just see the whole thing. Okay. Now, that's very interesting. One thing that we were talking about earlier, though, was this idea of being able to send out a hard copy somewhere from your personal computer, even though the person has no computer of their own.
Well, what we've got is we have an example of sending a message on the system, and we will, in this case, address the message to a person who is a subscriber to the system.
Right.
Here are our choices again. This time we're going to choose Create because we want to write an MCI letter. So the system simply asks us to whom we want to address it, and we type in her name. In this case, this is the name of my secretary back in Washington. The system identifies her, knows her. And is there anyone else we want to send this message to? No. Any copies to anybody? No. The subject, let's say we want to list a subject here for a meeting on, let's say, February the 24th.
Okay. Now it has the information.
That's correct. Now it's going to tell us, okay, enter the text of the message. Now we'll proceed to type in the message. Now because the addressee in this case is part of the system, this message can be delivered instantly. In our office, people check for messages typically about once an hour, so I can feel confident that she will see this message back in Washington within an hour. By the way, a message of this kind, in fact, up to 7,500 characters in length and transmitted instantly, only costs $1.
$1. Much less.
A lot less money than sending it by overnight air courier, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Okay, well, this is a very sophisticated, high-speed communication system here.
Well, and it's catching on rather nicely. Gives us the choices of the ways we want to send the message. We can either send it, if it was a paper message, it could go through the mail, through the U.S. mail, or through courier, or 4-hour courier.
So
that's it.
You have as wide a selection as you might have if you were using the other services, and you just have it more convenient.
In general, we can get a message to anybody, anywhere, faster and at less cost than any other comparable time-sensitive way of delivery, such as overnight air courier.
Now, I have here a...
That's right. That's a package that we've... that's an envelope, a courier envelope.
Now, you and the writer of the show actually sent this to me from Washington, D.C.
That's correct.
So I'm going to open this right here on the show, and let's have a first on the computer show, and we're going to read our first electronic message right here. All right, now this is delivered to me and sent by you on the service we're talking about. Let me just read it here and see what we've got. Dear John, the Personal Computer Show producers, okay, good, ask us to inform you of a decision to replace you as host of the show. Robert Harcharik will be taking over from here. Kindly remove your company wardrobe and clean out your locker. Bob, I'd like to say this is a...
Oh, it's the age of the future, digital age.
Great advantage in communications, I guess. I don't have much else to say except so long and good luck, Bob.
Thank you, John. And we'll be right back in just a moment.
How's it going, Dad?
Oh, it's okay, I guess.
We all could see it coming. Dad, it's time we had to talk about computers. And now that time's at hand. Come on, these guys are smart.
Big friends with the future at Computerland. Big friends with the future at Computerland.
We've helped more kinds of people buy more kinds of computers than any other store in the world.
Boy, he's really catching on. I'm very proud of him.
For information about the Computerland in your area, call toll-free 1-800-423-3008.
Every week, Barron's tells you more than what has happened or is happening in investments. Barron's tells you what will happen. A smart investor can take it from there.
You can get the next 26 issues of Barron's for $36. Just call 800-524-7000. Call today, and you'll also get as a bonus the helpful booklet, The ABCs of Market Forecasting. That's 26 issues of Barron's, plus the bonus booklet for just $36. Call 800-524-7000 now.
We do hope you've enjoyed our show today and will join us again next week at this same time.
You'll see a demonstration of video text terminals and a story about how the Personal Computer Show logo was created by a sign maker with the help of his personal computer.
And if you'd like the opportunity to enter this month's computer giveaway, stay tuned for the details immediately following the show.
We'll see you again next week at the same time
for the Personal Computer Show.
You now have an opportunity to win a Quaison QuickLink 300 video text terminal. It comes complete with subscriptions to communications networks like The Source, CompuServe, MCI Mail, Dow Jones News Retrieval, and CompuStore. Just send us a card with the following information: your name, address, and telephone number, along with the computer you own or would like to own, and what you use your computer for. Send that information along with your comments about the show and what you'd like to see in the future to the Personal Computer Show, March giveaway, P.O. Box 5433, San Antonio, Texas, 78201.